summary of what we talked about the last time, just for us to actually get familiar to what we are talking about here today. Because we are building on what we discussed the last time. So we're going to be doing the practical aspect today. And I believe majority of us have installed our database, like I said last week. So we are going to be using that today. And also we are going to be looking at using Power BI also. So everyone, please, can you please let me meet your mic, please? Okay, so I believe everyone here has actually installed that database. Probably you are using Postgres, you are using MySQL, you are using SQL Server. Anyone, I believe everyone has installed their own. Okay, Fiolua, right.
Oh yeah. So I'm unable to download the desktop version of Power BI, but I do have the what's it called now, the website version. Is
Okay.
that okay?
Yeah, it's fine, it's fine. You just find a way to connect it to the database. It's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I know that they work differently. There's some functionalities in the desktop
Yes,
Power BI that I know in the website.
yes. Yeah,
Explanation.
please can you help us mute your mic? Yeah, we are going to look into that when we get to that, but yes, we will find a way around that.
All right.
So we're
Thank
going to
you.
look into that. You're welcome. So yeah, and also so today's going to be practical aspect. So this class is going to be practical aspect, like I said earlier. So I'm going to be looking at the database today, how to actually we are going to be solving some case study. It's SQL. So what I'm going to be doing is SQL based kind of solution. So after that, we look to how we can connect our what's it called, our database to a Power BI. And the reason why we are doing that is because you know SQL kind of analysis is an ad hoc analysis. What I mean by ad hoc is it kind of like a one-time analysis whereby okay, maybe your manager can say okay, I want to see what is the total number of customers, what is the total number of goods bought, conversion rate and stuff like that. But if you wanted to be tracking it over a period of time, then you have to actually put it in the form of a dashboard so as to track it and see the progress of the thing over the time instead of going there and writing query every now and then. So that is why we are going to be talking about the Power BI part too. So after that, then I'm going to give an assignment. Like, yeah, this class is going to be an assignment. And the assignment is going to be the database and the Power BI part. So you have to actually use it to undo the assignment. So we're going to be looking at that also. So for today and tomorrow, that's what we're going to be covering. And please let us stay with me. Now, before I go deep into the practical aspect of things, like I said earlier, I want to um I want to explain go briefly about what I talked about the last time. I believe everyone here actually were available in the last class. I mean last week. Everyone present here actually available in the last class because we are building on that. So I want to be very sure everyone here is available in that class before I move on. Is there anyone? Yeah, great, great. So, is there anyone that is present here that was in the last class? Okay, Manuel, you're in the last class. Oh, okay. So what I'm going to do is just like a brief summary. I won't go in deeper into what we discussed the last time because it's actually like a 2 hour class. But I'm really sorry the recording wasn't available. It wasn't really what I planned. Okay, so let me just quickly do this thing. Okay, no problem. Let's see what we can do. Okay. Okay. So I believe you can all see my screen now. So last time what we talked about is metrics and KPI, and so I'm just going to go through all this. And we said for every company, the success of every company is actually the effective management of their data and how they control it. So let's say, for example, now a company is collecting data. If you don't manage it or use it very very well, then it is of no use and they are just wasting money. And the company can't really grow that way because these days a lot of decision that is being made today is actually based on data, based on what has occurred in the past, and it is actually used to make an insightful decision. So effective management of data, control of data. Another thing is if the data is not properly managed or controlled, probably well stored or collect the right information, then it's of no use to the company. So management and control of data is actually very, very important to the success of any company. And it's actually one of the key drivers to success of every company. And I talked about metrics and KPI. What are metrics? And these are numerical measurements that track various aspects of business performance. Yeah. For example, now if you are selling, if you are into a business, you have different metrics that are measuring, maybe your revenue, the number of your customers, the number of goods bought, and stuff like that. These are metrics. These are quantifiable measures. Quantifiable measures are also known as what as metrics, and they are used to actually determine the business performance. An example of a metric is number of downloads for a mobile app, which simply tracks how many times the app has been downloaded. And KPI is actually tied to the business goal or objective. So, for example, now a company is something that is quantifiable, different type of measure that you can actually measure. But when we talk about KPI is that measure that is tied to your business goal or objective. For example, all KPIs are metrics, but not all metrics are KPI. You understand now? All KPI are metrics, but all metrics are not KPI. For example, I'm in my business, I'm measuring revenue, total number of customers, and total number of goods sold. Probably to me, the revenue is what is really important or what is tied to my business objective. Then that will be my KPI. You understand now? So what is tied to the business, a metric that is tied to the business objectives or goal is all known as KPI, also known as key performance indicator. And they are critical indicators chosen specifically to assess how effective the business is achieving the key objectives. So example of KPI can be conversion rate. You understand now? So let's look in form of an app now. Let's say all these e-commerce websites, Amazon, for example, the number of page views, number of sessions, also metrics like that can be known as metrics. But when we talk about conversion rate, maybe the goals that Amazon said is the number of people that bought a particular good, maybe book or something like that. So that is their KPI. So now moving on, we talk about like this is what I just explained now that metrics is a KPI is actually tied to the business goal objective. So KPI is tied to the business goal or objective. And why do we track all these metrics and KPI? First thing is to monitor performance of a business. Yes, you have to determine how the business is doing. Without these metrics and KPI, you can't really determine whether you are doing well in the business or you are not doing well, or whether a company is doing well, whether a company is not doing well. So these are the major things that we should determine the performance of the business or a company. Decision support. So before you can make a decision, you have to actually turn to your metrics to determine, okay, this decision that I'm making, does it really support, does this metrics is, the metrics I'm measuring, is it really supporting it one way or the other? For example, maybe you wanted to like um, um, buy more goods now. You want to restock. Let's say, for example, you're into like product, you're selling product, you want to restock your company. You have to check your metrics whether you really need to restock or not. Because if you check your, let's say, goods that you have in stock, if they are very, very low, then that might be like kind of like a indicator for you to restock, and it actually helps the decision making. Those are what the metrics and KPI are. Accountability, clarify rules and expectation across teams. So when you set a very clear metrics and KPI, that is when you can actually measure your progress. And optimization, it is the metrics that will tell you whether to improve or something or not. If the things that you are getting from it based on the metrics and KPI are low, then that might be a call for you to do something rather than what you're doing. Maybe you need to actually up your selling, or you need to do more marketing and stuff like that. And also communication, provide a common language for discussing business performance. So those are just, so I'm just doing a run through over all these things. Then we dive into product analytics, and what we say product analytics is measuring how users are using product to improve their experience and meet your business goal. Yes, that is what product analysis is all about. Is to track how people are interacting with your product, how they are interacting with your product, and this will give you some information as to their experience and how you can actually meet your business goals. It is how people interact with your product that will determine whether your product is doing very well or not, and also tells you what the people need, whether what you are giving them is what they need or what it isn't what they need. So these are the things that actually determine a progress or a success of a product. And like I said, data is what connects all these things. It improves users' experience, enhance business understanding, and build influence within the organization and help us correction. So these are the importance of product analytics to users' experience, because it is when you measure the experience of the user, you can determine whether it is actually better or not. And based on the information you have, you can actually improve on that. And enhance business understanding. It is how people interact with your business will give you some insight as to how what they really need or what they want from you. You understand? And build influence within your organization. When you understand people, that is when you have influence on them. And this tends to helps you to understand what people want. And when you understand what people want, it gives you kind of like a leverage on them to give the best or to produce or to give them the best value and help course correction. And all these in returns help you to build a better product. It is when you collect your data, analyze it, that you determine what you are doing very well and what you are not doing very well. And this helps inform you to actually build a product in the long run. And why product analytics? It helps in product discovery, product delivery, and product distribution. It is based on the information that you get from your user experience that will determine what the user need more. So, for example, now I said sometimes ago I use all this bank app as an example. They got to a point they introduced this chatbot into what's it called into the app, and they determine based on the data they collect and everything like that. They determine that okay, they need to put in chatbot into this thing because it helps people to actually interact with you know a lot of people want to interact with customer care. They will have one issue or the other, and it's not everybody that can get customer care at some point in time. So they tend to actually create a bot that can actually attend to people's needs, while the customer representatives are actually attending to the other things. So product delivery helps in decision making, and also product distribution helps in assessing progress and attribution of your product. And why metrics? Why metrics? We actually measure these determine metrics or measure these metrics to actually measure the hello. Someone saying to measure the progress of the product. It is used to actually measure the progress of the product. And these are the key metrics we talk about. We talk about revenue. I actually explained all these things last class, but I might not be able to explain it today because of our time. Revenue, monthly recurring revenue, average. These are the different key metrics, major metrics. I won't say these are all the metrics. We have a lot of metrics for product analytics, but these are the major ones that you are going to be tracking day in day out. So revenue, monthly recurring revenue, average order, customer lifetime value, payback period, retention, churn rate, daily active users, and stuff like that. So I'm going to share this slide with us on the group. I said I was going to do that last time, but I wasn't able to do that. Sorry about that. So how to find the right metrics? These are the 4 steps to actually determine to find the right metrics. You have to actually determine the goals of the company. So what is the goal of the company? The goal of the business? What is the goal of the product? What does this product? What do we produce this product for? What is it actually created for? So you have to determine uh, the goal of the product and the company. So from that, then you determine what are the main indicator. What are the main indicator? And I actually break this based on the lead and lag metrics. Lead and lag metrics. Lag is actually the success metrics, what you're trying to achieve in the long run. For some people, it might be to increase the revenue, yeah, or to actually to increase the conversion rate. And these are the lag metrics. And what are the lead metrics? Lead metrics can be determined the number of page view, the number of people that add the product to cart, the number of people that check out. Those are the lead metrics. Lead metrics actually, these are the ones that actually amount to the lag metrics. Lag metrics is the success metrics. It is like your goal that you want to achieve. That's the metrics. So that's this thing. So you have to determine which ones are the lead metrics, which ones are the lag metrics. From there, you now determine map it based on the usage of the product. You have to map it based on the usage of the product to determine are people really aware of this product? Because that's the first thing. If people are not aware of the product, then there's no need of actually tracking anything. So awareness, adoption, and success. People are aware of the product. Okay. Let's say, for example, we put in a feature on our application now. How many people are aware out of our customers? Let's say we have 1,000 customers now. How many of them are aware? Out of this, is it 10% are aware? Is it 20% are aware? Because your metrics you're actually tracking is dependent on that awareness of the features. So how many people are actually aware of that particular features? From there, how many people are adopting it? Like what is the adoption rate? How many people are using this product? It is from the adoption that you can actually measure the success. So people that are not aware, are not adopting the product, you can actually measure the success of the product based on that. So these are the steps that takes in actually determining the metrics. And you have to determine the sanity metrics. Sanity metrics are the metrics that you cannot touch when you are actually trying to increase or improve the other metrics. These are the metrics you cannot touch. For example, now you are trying to increase the number of downloads of an application. You cannot touch the ratings of that app, because if you touch the rating, then it's going to affect another thing in business. So you have to look at what are the metrics that must not be affected when you're actually trying to improve these other metrics. You have to determine that, and you make sure the metric is not what is not touched or is not affected in any way. So now we move to event-based tracking. Event-based tracking is what our project is actually based on. And event-based tracking is a method of collecting data about user interactions, core events on a website, app, or digital product. Instead of just tracking page views, it captures specific action that user takes. Everyone wants to know everybody that owns actually a website or an application wants to know what the customers are doing on that application. And the knowledge of this is going to inform them on what to do. Yes. So, and what are the steps involved? Let's say, for example, now, these are example of event-based tracking. You have an application, you determine how many people sign up into the application. From the people that sign up, how many people sign in maybe day in, day out? What are they searching from your application? What product are they searching for? Pick a product. This understanding of this will determine what are the drop-off stage. Where are people like exiting my app? What are people doing on my application, to actually inform you as to what how the application is doing. Probably there's a part in the application that is really turning people off, or there's a part that people are finding difficult to actually navigate through. These are the things that the event-based tracking actually gives us. And this helps us to actually understand the users better. Sign in page. How many people sign in into the application? Out of those people that sign in, how many people search for products? How many people pick a product? How many people pay for that product? So from these stages, you want to know, okay, where are people dropping off the most? Probably it's from the search product. Maybe the search product, the user interface is not user friendly. So a lot of people are actually just exiting the page at that point, or they are not really maybe getting the search button, or the interface of the product is actually not really clear. So these are the information that the product designer actually gets and try to improve on the product. So the product. So these are the things that event-based tracking is all about. And these are the different events I'm talking about. Sign is actually an event or an action. Search for a product is an event. Pick a product is an event. Pay for the product is an event. So what we are doing in event-based tracking is we are tracking all these events to actually know how people are interacting with it. And what are the different type of analysis that we can carry out in event-based tracking? We talk about funnel analysis, we talk about segmentation analysis, quote analysis, and A/B testing. So funnel analysis is a method used to track and understand how users move through a defined sequence of steps called a funnel, usually towards the conversion goals such as purchase, sign up, or booking. So we are going to be doing funnel analysis today. Yes, we are going to be doing funnel analysis today. And based on your project too, you are going to be doing, or assignment I'm going to be giving you, you are going to be working with funnel analysis. And this is an example of funnel analysis. How many people come into the to my app, sign up, how many people sign in. This is an example of it. How many people select a product, how many people pay for the product. So track user sequence of steps towards a conversion goal. For every product, there is a goal. Your goal might be to buy a product. Your goal might be to buy a course. Your goal might be to do something. That's your goal. So, and goals vary. So a goal for product A is different from a goal for product B. So you have your goal, and the major thing of a product is to achieve that goal. So you want to track the process that leads to that goal. What are people doing? Where are people dropping off to get to the goals, and what are the things that are actually leading to the goal? So these are what the funnel analysis is trying to solve. So track user sequence of steps towards a conversion goal, identify the drop off and address them. Where are people dropping off? Is it from the product search? That is where a lot of people are dropping off. Is it from paying? Maybe the payment process is not easy, is not seamless. Yeah, that might be a thing. If the process is not seamless for them and you need to look into it. Maybe the process of paying is a long process, and a lot of people, customer doesn't really like something that is going to stress them. Maybe at that point, that is where they are dropping off. These are the things that information that funnel analysis is actually tells us as a product designer, product manager, or a business owner. Now, segmentation analysis is the process of dividing user, customers, or data into distinct groups. So segmentation analysis helps you to divide your customers into different groups to understand them better. For every group in a segmentation analysis, there's a pattern, and it is that pattern that we are going to leverage on. I set an example the other time that I was working on a project, and it's actually we have a loan application that we deploy is actually a loan hub. We deploy a feature on our application that actually give out loans to customers, and we find out that a lot of people are defaulting in the payment of their loans. And when people are defaulting the payments of the loan, it's going to affect the business, because how do we get the fund back to actually fund the whole business? So what we do was that I did a kind of thing. So I did analysis, and I tried to analyze the data to understand the customer better. And the framework I use, for this segmentation analysis, there are different framework that you can use. It might be based on the demographic, it might be based on demography. So what I use is actually RFM. So we call it. Yeah, I believe some people are maybe familiar with that framework, analytical framework, RFM, recency, frequency, and monetary value. So I tend to actually understand the customer pattern based on how recent they are, how frequent they are, and what is the total contribution they've made to the company. That's the monetary value. So based on this, I divide the customer into different groups. So I was able to determine maybe new customers, um, maybe the valuable customers, and the return customers. So based on that, I was able to give them the loan according to their group. So I was able to apply it. So these are the framework that we use. So I developed the analytic framework, then we deployed it into our into our system. And based on this, the system was able to determine, or was able to give the appropriate loan amount to each person. So based on that, the default rates of the loan actually reduced drastically. So people pay back on time, because we're able to understand them better. That, okay, these customers can only take this type of loan, and when they take this type of amount of loan, they can pay back at this period. For example, now a customer that can take let's say a 10,000 worth of loan, maybe the customer income is within a month is, let's say, 50,000. You understand now? And you are giving the customer maybe 25,000 or 30,000 worth of loan. It might be difficult for the customer to pay back at the end of the period. So that is what this analysis tells me. And seriously, this actually reduce the default rate of loan. So that is that for segmentation analysis. It helps you to understand customer better, understand patterns, and based on these patterns, you're able to attend to their needs accordingly. Then, so improve marketing and improves product. What analysis is a technique used to work and the technique used to track and analyze the behavior or performance of a group of users which share a common characteristic over time. So, what analysis is basically try to like determine the churn rate or retention rate of a customer at a particular period of time. Yeah, so churn rate is actually how many customers are leaving, and retention rate is how many customers are staying. So an example I said the last time was that, let's say, for example, you run a campaign on your product at a particular period of time, and during that campaign period, you gain a lot of customers. You want to track how those customers are actually leaving or staying over a period of time. So probably, let's say, for example, at a period of time, I was able to get like 1,000 customers. We should be able to track them day in, day out. Out of those customers I get at this particular period of time, how many of them is staying with us in day two? How many of them is staying with us in day three, day four, day five, day six, like that? So those are what this thing is all about. And based on this, you're able to determine your retention rate or churn rate. You understand? So that's what cohort analysis is all about. And I talk about A/B testing, which is the last one. A/B testing is just to test a feature of an application. Is to test the feature of an application, and we use that majorly when you're about to launch a product. So when a company is about to launch a product, they do A/B testing. Let's say there's a feature they want to launch now. For example, maybe there's a feature that allows people to make calls on the application. So they want to actually divide their customer into two separate groups. That's what we call A/B, and launch this product to them and to see how they react to it. So it is called A/B testing. It might be, for example, now one of the things that as simple as color of a button they test it in this type of thing. As simple as color is. Let's say I've seen something before whereby on an application they want to test the color of the sign up button. So they were trying to like use probably red or blue, and they divide their customer into two parts, and they show a part of a customer a red button and another part the blue button, and to see how they react. And believe me, a lot of people reacted to that red button and the blue button, and that's a lot. That's something. So they just give them some insight as to what the customer likes the most, and that's what A/B testing is all about. So now, please, are you all with me? Can you hear me? Okay, great, great, great. So that's just the run through of last week class. Sorry, I can't go deeper than that because of our time. So we have to move to what we have for today. So I'm going to share the slide with us. We can actually go through and read through. Now, so what we are going to be using, the case study we are going to be looking at today is clickbait. So clickbait is actually a very common case study. So if you can go online, let's go online. There's something we call Danny's Diner. If you search clickbait case study online, you will see it. It's actually an 8-week SQL challenge from Danny's Diner. I don't know if some of you are familiar with that challenge. It's actually a very good challenge because the data there are actually real life something that you can work with, and you can try out, and I'm telling you, it's actually a very good one. So clickbait is a website, and what they sell is actually different products on so let me quickly go through it. So clickbait is not like your regular online seafood. It's a seafood store. It's a website for a seafood store. So I said clickbait is not like your regular online store, seafood store. The founder and CEO Danny was also a part of the digital analytics team. I want them to expand his knowledge into the seafood industry. In this case study, you are required to support Danny's vision and analyze this data set to come up with a creative solution to calculate funnel fallout. This is funnel analysis to calculate the funnel fallout rate for the clickbait online store. So it's a website, and it's an online store. So what we have to do is we are actually going to analyze the data to help the owner, the founder, to understand the funnel fallout. That is a funnel analysis to see how people are interacting with the website, what are they buying, and where are they dropping off. That is what we're actually trying to do with this data set. And available for this case study, there's a total of 5 data sets. So I'm going to be working with 5 tables. So there's a 5 tables for this data set. 5 tables I'm going to be working with. So the first one is the users. The user table contains the user information. User table contains the user information. So please, if you cannot hear me at some point, let me just know, because this part I'm explaining is very, very important. So we have the users. We have the user information. So this table contains the user information, the user ID, the cookie ID, and the start date. So I'm going to explain this better. And then the second one, okay, someone is, Ifeoluwa, please, yeah, go ahead. You can see your hand.
Yeah, I was wondering if you can send the link in the chat so we
Okay.
can follow along.
Okay. All right, let me do that. Yes, I'm recording. Yes, I just sent it to the group page now, so you can check it out. All right, great. So yeah, so at some point, if you don't understand anything, please let me know, because the understanding of the whole project is actually very, very important. Because if you don't understand it, you won't be able to analyze it. So let's understand it, and let's do it together. And the reason I'm saying we should understand it now is because I'm going to give you an assignment that you're going to be doing on your own. And please, that assignment is very, very important, because assignment and project is what really determine whether you're going to get a certificate or not. So please let us pay attention and let's understand this together. So it said in this case study, you are required to support Danny's vision, analyze the data sets, and come up with creative solution to calculate funnel fallout rate for the clickbait online store. For this case study, there's a total of 5 data set, which is known as 5 tables. which you will need to combine to solve all of the questions. So we are going to be working with 5 different tables. So the first table is the users table, and the users table contains the user ID, cookie ID, and start date. You understand now? I believe everyone knows what cookie ID is. Cookie ID. You know, when you go online, when you say, when you go to a website, say you want to store cookies, stuff like that. Do anybody have understanding of what cookie is on a website? Okay. Okay. Folashade doesn't know. Okay. Ifeoluwa, do you understand? Do you want to explain?
Uh,
Hello?
to the best of my understanding, I think cookie is kind of like a unique identifier. So if you go on a website, so
Mhm.
they get some data from you to be able to identify you. So it's like cookie crumbs, kind of. So you follow the cookie crumbs.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much. So it's a unique identifier on the website, and it's actually tracked based on the device. So, for example, now if a user is actually on a website and the user is still on that website, maybe on that part using a particular device, maybe a Google Chrome, for example, now the cookie ID will not change. But if I actually use another device to actually log into that website, then it tracks the user based on the device. So based on the device that you use. Okay, based on the device. So that is what cookie ID measure. It measures uh unique identifier. It's a unique identifier based on the device. So yes, thank you. Customer visit. So we have the events table also. So the event table talks about the visit ID, cookie ID, page ID, event type, sequence number, and event number. So mind you, they say customer visit are logged in this event table as a cookie ID. Yeah, at a cookie ID level, yes. And the event type and page ID values can be used to join onto relevant satellite databases to obtain further information about each event. So I'm going to be sharing the ERD diagram of the table with you as we move on. So these are the this is the information that we have on the event table. Then we have the event identifier. So the event type, these are the name for each event type that is carried out on the particular website. You know, I told you the other time event is an action. So the first one is the page view, add to cart, purchase, because it's like a seafood store. So you want to know the number of people that view our page, number of people that actually have the product to cart, number of people that purchase the product, and they have a campaign that they run at a particular point in time. So add impression and add click. You know, ad impression is that thing that pops up, the ad that pops up on your website. The ad click is the number of people that click on it. So they run a campaign at a particular point in time. These are the campaign they run. Campaign ID, products, and the campaign name, fishing for compliments, and the campaign run from the start date of the campaign and the end date of the campaign. Another one is a 25% off. You know, they run a campaign leaving the logs, and this is the start date and the end date, and half off, treat your sheriff, and blah, 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 like that. So these are another campaign that they run. So these are the tables that are going to be working in. Then we have the page hierarchy. So the page hierarchy is the way the website is being structured. You know, page ID, the page, when you sign up, these are the first thing that you're going to see. So page ID one is the home page, which is very common, the all product page. Then we move to the salmon pool. These are the product that they are selling. These are the different fishes that they have: salmon, kingfish, tuna, Russian caviar, black truffle, and these are the different fishes that they have there. So then another page, the page ID 12 is the checkout. You know, after you had to catch, you have to check out the confirmation payment process. So these are the different uh, tables that we are going to be working with, and you have to actually join this table together, manipulate it to get your answers or to answer a question. Okay, so some people answer. Oh, please, you can speak. I can see some people answer. You have any question? Please go ahead. Can unmute your mic and speak. And if you don't understand any part in what I'm saying, please, you can speak too. So that is why I send the link. Let's open the link and let's follow along as I'm moving on this part. And if you don't understand any part in what I'm saying, please call my attention to it so that I can explain better.
Please, can you share the link again?
Okay. Please, can someone let me share that link again? Okay, thank you, Sholwa. Okay. So these are the page hierarchy. These are the way the page is being structured. The page of the website is being structured. And so now I would like to show us the before we go to the questions that we're going to be talking about. So I would like to show us the ERD diagram. Do anybody know what I mean by ERD diagram? This is a question. ERD diagram is entity relationship diagram. This okay. So entity relationship diagram is the diagram that shows how the table is joined together, how they are linked together. Because before you can actually work with like 5 tables together, then there must be something that link them up together, like a primary key and foreign key, kind of things like that. So that is what what's it called? ERD diagram is all about. So I'm going to be doing this. Hold on, let me try and create ERD diagram. So created. Hold on, let me bring out the ERD diagram. I think I have it somewhere. Just a minute. So, so I'm with you. Okay. Okay. So I don't have the ERD diagram here. I'm going to share with you on the group. I have it somewhere. I don't know. I don't know where I see it. So, it's, mhm. Okay. Yeah, I got it. So yeah. Okay. Now we know. Okay. Yeah, so this is the ERD diagram. You can see these are the different tables. We have the clickbait users, we have the events, we have the page hierarchy, we have the campaign identifier, we have the click bait. So these are the way the table actually relate with each other. And this understanding of this is very, very important. So this will give you some understanding how you can link up or join the tables together. Because the users is linked to the events using the cookie ID, and the page hierarchy is linked to the event using the page ID, and also the event identifier is linked to the event using the event type. So the event table is actually the fact table, while the other one are known as dimension table. I don't know where if anybody get that's what I mean by fact table. Fact table is actually a table that contains the whole activities. You understand now? That contains your activities on the app, on the application. While the dimension tables are actually the qualifiers, the ones that explain the fact table. So that's what I mean by what fact and dimension table. And yes, moving on. Now, so those are the things, and we have some like questions that we like to answer with this data set. So we have some few questions here. We have the how many users. These are the git analysis questions. We have the products funnel analysis questions. Then we have the campaign analysis. The campaign analysis is what you are going to be doing as your project, as your assignment for this particular class. Yes. Although I'm going to generate the table for you, then I'm going to leave it to other ones. So I have the questions I'm going to share with you. I'm going to be doing, and please, we are going to be submitting this assignment. It is very, very, very important. And you're going to be creating a dashboard with it. Yes. We're going to be creating a dashboard with it. So that is what we're going to be doing. So without wasting much of our time, it's time for us to actually dive into the practical aspect of it, and let's answer some questions with this data set. But before I move on to my SQL, do we really understand the whole table and the whole case study? Yeah, someone hands is up. Yes, you can please unmute your mic and speak. Mhm. Yeah, go ahead. Please unmute and speak. All right. Is there any other questions? Like, do anybody have any other question? Have you opened the page? Have you gone through the page? Is there any question from anyone at all? If we have a questions, that will be the time before I actually dive into what we have for today. Okay. So if there's no questions, let's move into our database and let's create the data ourselves. So I'm going to show you how you can create the table in your database, and from there we know how to start answering the question after the other. So let's open our database. I believe everyone has installed their database like I asked us to do. So I'm going to be using Postgres. So for those that are using Postgres for your PG admin, so my user interface is PG admin. Okay. Okay. So PG admin. Okay, let's see why this one loads.
Your system is slow.
I'm running a lot of things on it. Like I have a lot of application running. So okay, you said come up now.
And last week you said you are going to share some uh, videos for us to begin with, for beginner friendly.
Yes, I thought I shared this thing with us, like the group page, the last year bootcamp.
Oh, okay, okay,
We talk
okay.
about this thing now. All right, it's there. Sorry, let's give it time to do it.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Yes, go ahead.
Good
I'm
evening.
with you.
So please, why was he trying to come up with a database? Is it during the
Okay.
database that you are going to talk about how we are going to do our ERD diagram
Okay,
or
so the
what?
ERD, yeah, I can show you how you can do the ERD diagram. So ERD diagram is actually very distinct. So we have different ways you can create your ERD diagram. You can use draw.io. You can use DB diagram. So I will actually recommend this for you. For those that want to create a ERD diagram. So I recommend this for you. Let me just quickly show you the ones I'm explaining the other time. So use this one. Use the diagram.db diagram.io. You can use
What
draw.io.
what's the name?
dbdiagram.io.
Okay.
That's the name for the website. So it allows you to create your ERD. Yeah. Yes. It allows you to create your ERD diagram. So how do you create the ERD diagram here? So they already give you like a sample on how to go about it. So what you need to do is you have to create the table separately. So let's say for example the user table now, you give it a name, table user, and you list all the columns under it. Let me zoom in this so that you can actually. So this is it. Now, this is a sample here now. You name the table. Let's, for example, now the name of your table is user table. you put a name there, you list the column under that table, and you state the data type. Maybe it's an integer, text, or a date, or time, stuff like that. So after creating the first table, you close it with this curly bracket. Then you create the next table. So after doing that, after listing all the table, after creating another table here. So the next thing you have to do now is to establish relationship between those tables. And how do you establish relation between those tables? Let's say, for example, now we have follows table here and we have users table here. You have to determine which one is actually the a fact and which one is the dimension. I don't know whether you are getting what I mean by fact and dimension.
You understand?
Now, you understand. So fact dimension is fact is the one that contains the whole activities that is happening in your database or your application. And dimension is the one that actually explains it. So for example, now, if the user is the fact table, then you are going to say user table greater than the other table. Do you understand now? So the one that is a fact is the one that is going to come first, while the one that is the dimension is the one that is going to come second. So greater than. So that is how he's going to establish relationship. So you just follow the process that you are. If you follow this example here, you'll be able to actually create your own.
Wait. Let me ask this question on this. So
Okay,
you
go
are
ahead.
talking about when we are doing joints.
Mm-hmm.
So the fat table will first come, right?
Yes, yes.
What about in case of we are doing maybe we have right joint or left joint.
Okay. It doesn't really matter here. It is in your SQL that you do maybe left join, right join. This one is just to actually note whether a table is related to this table or a table is related to the other table. That is what the ERD diagram is all about. It's just the relationship that exists in the table.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So it is when you get to SQL that you can actually determine left join, right join, and other one like that.
Oh, yeah, a quick question while I'm still on this. So
Okay.
what is the difference between the ERD diagram and say for example the diagram from Power BI when you merge two or more tables?
Okay. So ERD diagram is actually used for a database, like tables in the database. That's what we call it, entity relationship diagram. So it is actually to show a structure of a database and how the table is linked to each other.
Oh,
Normally when you're working in a company, they just tell you that these are database. You can't really see like physically the database, but they can give you the ERD of the database for you to understand that okay, this table is linked to this table, so that when you're writing your query, you can understand which one is linked to each one. You understand that?
yes, I do. So what
So
I'm
that's
asking is if
okay.
we, for example, we are using Power BI,
Yes,
right, and we are merging like different tables.
yes,
If you merge like three tables in Power
yes,
BI, you get a
yes.
similar diagram.
Yeah, you get a similar diagram. Yes,
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 so I'm
yes, yes.
asking what is the difference? Can both of them be interchangeable or there's like distinct difference between both of them?
So the one for Power BI, they call it modeling, data modeling. You
Okay.
understand?
All
Yeah, the
right.
one for the database, they call it ERD diagram. Now, this is where the thing comes in. For there's something we call OLTP and OLAP. OLTP is for normal online transactional database. That one is for normal database. While the OLAP is like a data warehouse whereby the data is for analytical purpose alone.
Okay.
You get at times. So in data warehouse, we use modeling. That's what we use in data warehouse, like modeling, like you model the data, you link one data table to the other one in data warehouse. But when we come to a normal proper database, like a transactional database, we call them ERD diagram, just like how one table is linked to each other. It's just like a name used interchangeably, sha. You can actually
Oh,
use it for that one. Yeah.
all right. Thank you.
You're welcome. So yeah, moving on. So that is that for the ERD diagram. So you can actually just lay hands on this and create your ERD diagram. Just try it out. For those that are interested, just try it out. And it's actually seamless. Or you can use draw.io. That one allows you to actually draw a table using the square and the triangle and everything like that and put like an arrow between them. But I think this one is actually much more easier for me. So moving on. So we have the data already open now. So just open your database. Sorry. Okay. How's this thing having like this? So one of the very okay. So now I'm going to delete this one I have here. I already created one in the past before. So let me just delete it and let's create a new one together. Now, so for us to bring in the data, we have to create an empty database. For us to bring in data, we have to create an empty database. How do you create an empty database? Just right click on database and create a new database and give it a name, just like this. So I'm going to be calling this one clickbait. So that's the database. So after you're done, just click save to save the database. So the next one we are going to be doing is to bring in the data set. So how do I bring in the data sets? You are going to get the data set from the group page. No, that's from the group page. From the website. This is where we are going to get our data set. So how do you get data set from here? So you scroll down to the website where we have the whole information for the case study. Then you click on this part. You know, it's an interactive SQL instance. It said click here. So when you click on this part, it's going to give us the source of the data set. So click on it. Then it's going to open up DB Fido. So from the DB Fido, we are going to get our data set. So when you open up the DB Fido, you are going to see the data set. This is the data set here. Are you following me?
Please wait.
Okay.
Let's also navigate to that
Yeah.
Did you say interactive something?
Yeah, so come to other interactive SQL instance. There's
Where?
like a click here. There's a button here, like
Interactive SQL instance.
you see something here, click here.
I put the link directly in the chat.
You couldn't what?
I put the link directly in the chat. You can just click on the link for the database.
Oh, yes, just click on it. So when you click on it, it's going to open up this part. Can you get were you able to get this part?
No. Did you say you dropped the link?
Yes, it's directly in the.
Can you drop it again?
It's in the chat. The last link in the chat is to the database.
Yes, it's in the chat. Just check it.
Hello, please.
Hi.
Is this asking? Is it workable for both database? Probably my SQL or a Microsoft SQL Server.
It works for everyone. It works for everything.
Please can you drop this thing again?
You just if you're please can you hear me drop that link again?
All right, I'm dropping it now.
Thank you.
Yeah, so the last link, just click on it. It should take you to the database, the DB Fido.
Okay. Can we move on now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just giving like a minute because of our time. You know, we have a lot to cover, and time is on our side.
Please, how do we
Maybe
import
it's
it
checking
in
the
into
WhatsApp
my
chat.
SQL?
Maybe it's checking the WhatsApp chat. So you start the
No, just we not
Google
we are
meeting.
we are doing that now. So just follow the process. We are here to bring in the data into the database. Just follow the process. This is just the process. So everybody should open the link to the website and navigate to this particular page. Then we'll take it from there to bring in the data sets to your database. So open the link, then you click on this under the interactive SQL session. There's a link there, just click on it. So when you click on it, it's going to open up the DB Fido, like something like this for that particular case study. So after you get to this page, then you copy everything here. Just copy everything that you have here. Like don't delete, don't add, don't remove. Just go Control A. Just select Control A and Control C. Just do Control A, Control C. copy all the schema or the data set, Control A, Control C. So after you've done that, so you come to the empty database that you just created here, under the empty clipboard that I just created here. Then you click on the query to open a new interface to actually write your query on that particular database, that empty database. Select it and click on the query tool. So when you do that, it's going to open up the file query editor here. So in the query editor, just paste it there, Control V. Just paste everything there like that. Don't just paste it there like that. So after you've pasted it there, then press Control A again to highlight everything and run it. So after you highlight everything, just run the script, run everything. Then it's going to create the table in your database. So this is me running now. So the table has been created successfully. So I have all the tables in my database now. So if I go there, then I click on the clickbait, come to the schema. Under the schema, because you find your table under the schema. So under the schema, then I check the schema. Then under the schema, I will navigate to the table. So these are all the tables I have. I have the campaign identifier, we have the event identifier, I have the events, I have the page hierarchy, and I have the users. So the table has been created in my database. Then I can go ahead and start creating it now. Do you get? Are we on the same page on this part? Okay, great. Great. Okay.
Sorry, excuse me, please. Do you mind just quickly explaining how you imported that again? I think I got lost somewhere along the line.
Okay. All right, sir. So I'll go through the whole process again now. So the first thing you need to do is to open up, navigate to the case study page through that link that I sent to the group page, to the chat. Then after you navigate to the page, just scroll down to the interactive SQL instance. Under this part, you have a click-through link here. So when you click on this is going to open another page for you, and it's going to open a DB Studio SQL database. This is where we have the data, the source data. Yeah. So by the left-hand side here, you see the source data there, the clickbait, create schema, event identifier, everything. So all the data set is here. So what you need to do in this part is just Control A and Control C everything. Don't add, don't remove, just Control A and Control C everything. So when you copy that, you come to your database, be it SQL Server or anything. Then before you do that, you have to create the empty database first. And like I said, you just right click on it, create the database. So give the database a name. I can give it any name. I can click this on click 2. Let me just give this on click 2. So after that, just save it. So after you do that, on that particular database, select the database. So on that particular database that you select, click on the query editor just to open up the query editor. So from the query editor, you paste everything that you copied. You paste everything here. Because this query editor that you actually open is linked to that empty database that you created. So anything that you're going to be doing in this particular query editor must be linked to that particular database. So you just paste everything there, Control V. So after you've done that, highlight everything by pressing Control A again for you to run it. So after you've done that, just run everything, just select the execute script, and the table will be created in the database automatically like that. Do you get that part? Do you get that?
Yes, it's clear. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So moving on. So we have our database. We have our database and everything.
Sorry, excuse me.
Okay. All right, sir.
It seems our schema can only work for Postgre because Microsoft SQL Server is saying is exceeding the rows. So probably I think it's going to be a static that will work for it.
It's exceeding the row.
Yeah, what is it?
What's the message? What's the error message again?
Maximum does exceed maximum allowed row 1,000 row values.
For SQL Server, okay, SQL, SQL Server can only take in 1,000 rows.
Yes. So for us to work, it will have to do through probably or importing.
Okay. Important. I've no. Let's wait. Hold on. SQL. Okay, that's another thing we have to actually figure out. But just follow along. How many people are having that issue? Please let me know. SQL Server. How many people are on SQL Server? Okay. This. Okay. Ah. Okay. Okay. All right. So we are going to figure a way out, but might not be today. So I'm going to actually maybe reach out to those people for SQL Server on the group page. But please, can you just follow along for us to just get through this class? But I'm going to actually reach out to everyone using SQL Server to know how we can actually go solve that problem. But for now, please let's just follow along. That's what I try. Okay. So moving on. So the next thing we're going to do now is check your. Let me just delete this one because I already have it before. So what you need to do is just check. If you check your database, you see that the data has been populated in the tables. So you have them. You have something like this there. So after that, so what you need to do now to start writing your queries, click on the clickbait, that same database again, click on it again, and create a new query editor just for you to write your query to start manipulating data. So create a new query editor. So yes, now we can start writing our query and start answering all those questions that we have. So moving on, the first question we want to answer here is this. And I'm going to be taking in one after the other. Some part of them, I'm going to be giving an assignment, but I want us to actually pay attention to this part so that you can solve the assignment or you can do the assignment on your own. So the first question that we have here is this. So we already know that the tables that we have here, we know the information that each table carries. User carries the user information. We have the event carry all the events that happen in the applications. That is the number of page view, how many people buy a particular product and stuff like that. And we have the event identifier that map to the events table. So we have the campaign identifier also. We have the page hierarchy table also. So now the first question that we have here is how many users are there? How many users do this particular store has? And we can determine that by writing a query to get the number of users from our database. And to get the number of users from our database, this is the first question. So I believe majority of people that have what we have here, let me just assume like 70% of people that we have here have some maybe fundamental understanding of SQL or some basic understanding of SQL, right? Should I assume that? Yes. And for those that are just like I already told us to actually go through the video on the previous bootcamp for us to get some basic understanding of all these things. So yes, we have understanding of SQL. So the first question that we have here is this: say how many users are there? So how many users do we have in all? So for a particular product, for a particular website, for a particular store, they want to know the total number of users they have first. You understand? So how do we write down? Down is actually so we'll start with select. So to know the total number of users that we have, we are going to be using the users table. Users table is the one that contains the users information. So let me quickly just give you an overview of the users table. Select start from user. Are you with me? Is someone asking a question? Okay, so now to just have an understanding of all the tables, we can actually run everything. So these are the information on the user. You can see we have the user ID, we have the cookie ID, we have the start date. So these are the start date of each user when they join us, when they sign up to a particular on our website. So these are the user information. Then we have the other one. Let me check all the tables so that we can have select star. So mind you, whenever you are running, one thing I want to tell you in SQL, whenever you are running or you are checking a table in SQL, in production for a company, don't select star from table A. It is not advisable. And why is that? For every query that you run, most especially if your database is on cloud, for every query that you run, there's a charge that is attached to it. So let's say, for example, now you have like a billions of record in your database and you run select star from table A. It's going to return all the information in that particular table. And that is a lot of cost. So whenever you are running, we are trying this on your database, like company database, don't run select star. What you can do is you can put a limit to it to limit the number of rows that you want to see. For example, now it's because this is just like an exercise. That is why I'm using select star from the user's database. Because in real life, user's database can have like hundreds of millions of data depending on the size of the company. And if you run that, the number of times, the number of query, the number of results that the thing returns is actually dependent on sorry, the charge that you are going to pay, the cost that you're going to pay is dependent on the number of results that the query returns. So you have to actually be careful of that. So in real life settings, you have to put limits to restrict the number of things that you are returning, number of rules that you are returning. This is for Postgres limit, and I think that also works for MySQL. Please, can you please mute your mic? Thank you. So, and the other person, please, let's mute our mic, please. The thing is re-echoing. Oh, thank you so much. So now, you use limits for SQL Server. They use top, select top something. So whenever you are trying out or you are trying to check a table, it is best for you to use limits, please. So if I say, let me say limit 10 now, for example, now it's going to return only the 10 results. Now, so I have the users table. These are the information of the user. So the next one I want to check is the event table. Click bits dot events. So these are just information just for us to actually understand the table better. So these are the event table. We have the cookie ID, we have the page ID, we have the events, we have the sequence, we have stuff like that. So now moving on to the question. Now we want to know what is the number of users so that we have on particular that have signed up on the website. So how do we do that? So what we can do is just select star and we do the count. From the other part, I already give us the overview of the users. So select count of users, count user ID, because unique identifier for every user is a user ID. So that is why you have to count the user. So that's the unique identifier, user ID from this one, clickbait. So that will give us the total number of user. Okay, it's giving us this. Do you get this? Do you get this? Hold on. Sorry. Why do I have to put this thing? So you cannot just run count user ID. The reason why you have to put this thing is this. Let me explain this thing here. You notice that this table is actually based on the cookie ID. The user table is based on the cookie ID. So if you check it now, we have the user ID and we have the cookie ID. And this is based on the cookie ID. A particular user can have multiple cookie ID and is going to actually repeat them. That is why you have to use this thing count to get the number of unique users. Do you understand what I just explained now? Yes. Thank you so much. Because the users there are not unique. The user actually based on the cookie ID. So you have to use this thing to get the number of unique users. So we have 500 users from this table. And that is this. And why do we have to get the users? You have to actually know the number of users for you to understand how your website is doing. From the number of users, you can now determine how many out of these 500 users, how many of them are interacting with this, how many of them are interacting with that. If I don't have the understanding of the number of users I have, I can't really determine or measure the efficiency of my website or my product. For example, now let's say 1,000 people come into my website to buy a product. Out of how many people? So this is what this thing actually gives us understanding about. Now, moving on, the next question that we have here is how many cookies does each user have on average? How many cookies does each user have on average? So that to measure the number of cookies that each user have on average, that one is quite easy. So it's going to be select count of distinct cookie ID divided by count of distinct user ID from user. So to get the number of unique to get the number of what's it called? Cookie that how many cookies does each user have on an average? So we want to know the average cookie for each user. So we have to count the number of cookie divided by the number of users. That would give us the average of cookie ID. At the end of the day, we have to connect. So on an average, can you hear me? Please, can you hear me or mute your mic? I'll be mute your mic, rather. Your mute. Okay, so moving on. So that is actually we get the cookie ID. Now moving on to the other questions that we have here. So answer to this question is what is going to bring about the insight that we want to know. So what is the unique number of
So,
visitors? Okay, go ahead.
sorry, sir, can we be using aliases so that we can know which one we're doing, sir?
Okay, yeah, that's actually a better way of writing a query. Yes. Thank you for that. So as let me bring this thing down. So, average cookie per user. Okay, you get this now. Okay, okay. So moving on. So the next question is this. So what is the unique number of visits by all users per month? So now what does this type of information tells us? Unique number of visits per month tells us whether there is actually a seasonal effect to our product, maybe for a particular month, or to show us the traffic, how customers are interacting with our website, and also give us a kind of like a seasonality effect. Maybe for a particular month, that is when we have more customers. For this particular month, we have more customers. For this particular month, customers. So it gives us that kind of information. And to do that, it's going to be something like this. So to do that one is select um, unique number of. So we have to actually get the month from the date column. So we're going to be using the events. We're going to be using the event column here. We're going to be using the event. And let me ask you a question. Why are we using the event column here? Can someone tell me why we are using the event column?
Because that is where we have
I
our
think
ticket ID.
Okay, thank you so much. Because that is where we have our dictionary. Yeah, so we're going to be using the event column, and from the event column, we have the date there, the date of transaction that every customer comes in. From that particular date, we are going to be getting we are going to be extracting the month from them. So that is what we're going to be doing. And you can do that for SQL. We can do that for different SQL. You can do that for MySQL and other SQL like that. So Okay. So that's to select. Let me just put style first from the bits events. So there's a different ways you can extract the month here. So I have different function in SQL that I can use to extract the month. I have the date parts. Yes, there's a function known as date part in SQL. In PostgreSQL, we have the split part too. So these are the different functions you can use to extract from the data. So I can put in the month here to quote month and comma. So we have the what's the column responsible for the month. So we have the event time. So we can say month event time, comma, as month.
Hello, what is going on?
I guess
Hello,
probably
am
has
I?
is having.
Oh, okay, internet.
Yeah, maybe network problem. Network is bad in this. I just hope he screen record it. Okay, screen recording it so I'm able to post it for us on YouTube.
Let's just hold on. Seems like workplace.
Can you hear me now? Hello?
Yeah, we can.
Sorry, I didn't know I left the call. Seriously?
We can see your screen, but we can't hear you if you're speaking.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, now
sorry.
it's better.
Yeah, sorry, brother. I didn't know I've actually left the call. I'm, I'm used to
I
this.
tried calling you to alert you to it. Like, are you
Oh,
aware that you've left the call?
thank you so much. If you're all right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. If you is my assistant in this class. Thank you. So, so this is the second question. I said, what is the unique number of visits by all users per month? So why do we need this metric? So we want to see what's the trend of how people are interacting with a particular website and to see if there's a seasonality effect. For example, now this gives us an insight to maybe a particular month, that is when we have more customers. In a particular month, that's when we have these customers, depending on the nature of our products that we are selling. Maybe January, we have more people in January because a lot of people buy our products, the seafood in January, or maybe there's a particular month that they do seafood culture or something like that. Maybe that's when people buy things like that. So this gives us an insight as to the traffic on our websites, people coming to our websites, and how do we determine the unique number of visits? Now, to do this now, I already started writing the query before I left the call. So there's a function known as toChar. toChar is to extract the a part of a string, maybe month or year or day from a date column. So toChar is actually extracting the name of the thing. So I'm using year month because I want to extract the year by month. So that's what I'm doing. So year month from event time. So this is going to extract. Yes, go ahead, please. Someone is using.
To chat, is it universal?
It's not universal. It's not universal. There's one for every database has their own. We have the one in MySQL. You can actually use ChatGPT for this. This is actually very simple. But I know everyone has their own. What's the one for that MySQL one? I've used the one for MySQL, but I don't know the one for SQL Server. But you can actually just do a Google search or a ChatGPT search. It's going to bring that one out. Yes, for this one. Okay, so moving on. So toChar is going to extract the month from the event time. We are using the event column, event table, because it's the one that contains the visit ID and all the things that is happening on that particular website. Then we're going to do the distinct count of the visits, because they said they want to know the distinct, unique number of users by unique number of visits by all users. So we're going to be using the distinct visit ID as number of visits from clickbait, and we're going to group by the month, and this is what this is going to give us. If at some point you don't understand any of my query, please call my attention to it for me to explain, because the understanding of this query is very, very important when you are writing your own. Now moving on. So the third question says, what is the number of events for each event type? From the table we have different type of events. Let me go to the table again. See, this is at the event. We have the page view. So they want to know the total number of page view that we have, total number of add to cart, total number of purchase, total number of add impression, blah, blah, blah. All these things. We want to know the total number of people that click on it. And this gives us some insight as to how many people click on the page, how many people add to carts, how many people purchase. We are actually going to the funnel part of it. But this is what this one is just all about. So moving on, I'm going to go to my SQL, change to write this one out. Right. This is it. I'm trying to copy the question so that we can have it. So what is the number of events for each result? To this now, and someone just explain how we can go about this to me. Let me see where someone can. So first and foremost, for this type of question now, since we are going to be getting the name of the event, we're going to be joining the table. So first thing you need to identify is what table am I using for this question. For every question you're going to answer, you have to identify the table you are using first. So for this table, for this question, what table do you think we are using? What table are we using for this question?
Using the event table.
Yeah, event table. And which one again?
Number of events for each event type.
Yes, we are using number of events. So because I want, yes,
Event
go
and
ahead. Event identifier. Thank you so much. So those are the two tables we are using. So we are using the event table and the event identifier. And the reason we are using that is because event identifier has the name of all those events. So what really capture the events that happen is the event table, but the identifier is the one that has the name, because under the event table we only have the ID to it. You understand, like an ID, but the name of each event that happened is what we have on the event identifier table. So we are going to join the two tables together, and so that is going to be select. Let me just put asterisk here now. I'm not going to define the name from. So like I said, we are using the clickbait events. Not events. So that's the table. Now we are joining from. So when you are joining, you have to use join. So we have three type of is it three type of four type or five types of joins here? We have the inner join, we have the join. So inner join is actually the same thing as normal join. So they use it interchangeably. So if you are using inner join, I also call it join, but it is better for you to write it in full, should in case you are not the only one that you are going to be using your query. Sometimes when you write a query in your office, a lot of people have to run it. So you have to actually write a query clearly so that they can understand when they are running your query. So inner join and join are actually the same thing. We have the left join, we have the right join, and actually all this join is actually dependent on the kind of question you are trying to answer. So what will determine when to use left join? We are going to see that very soon. What determines what to use right join? We don't really use the right join like that. We use left join majority of the time. Right join and left join do the same thing. So a lot of people use a lot of time we use left join. So right join to me is actually useless. We use left join, then we use full outer join. Full outer join. Yes, so those are the type of join that we have, and we have cross join too. Cross join, yes. So for this case, we're going to be using join because I'm trying to join the match the event identifier to the event table. So it's going to be join clickbait. It's thoughts. What was the last one? That is identifier. So put in like an alias here.
Event underscore identifier.
Oh, did I write underscore identifier? I didn't know that that is dot. Okay, the name of the table is underscore identifier. Oh, thank you.
Event, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Event identifier. Thank you so much. So yes, so we have all these things here. Now the next thing we want to do, so I'm going to put alias here because when I'm joining it, I don't want to be writing the whole name again. So I'm just going to call this one, let me say E, and I'm going to call this one maybe EI or something. But I can call it, let me call T1, T2, T1, T2. So that's just like I'm renaming the column. Now for the on, then on. So what is common to the two table? That is what you are joining them on. What is common to the two table? What column is common to the two table? Can anyone go? Column is common to the table.
I would suggest we run the event at the person that we can see for some of us that we're not following.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. Thank you. That is fair. So no, so we have the event type. So what is actually common to the two of them is event type. Let me copy it so that you can see what I'm saying now. Event identifier. No, now. You can see that we have event type for the events. So let's check for the other one. So we have the event type. So we are joining them together based on the event type. You understand?
Yeah.
So to do that now, it's going to be on T1 dot event type. Event type. is equal to T2 dot event type. So how's that? Now we've defined the old join and enter. So now let's now start defining our table. So from this table now, what we want to see based on the question, what is the number of event type for each event? So I'm going to be calling the event table. So that would be T1. For me to get the name of the event table, I'm getting it from T2, which is the event identifier. So that would be T2 dot name, event name. Are you following me?
Yeah.
Okay, as event name. Can do counts. So that's what we are doing. We are doing count E1. Sorry, I say E1. C1 dot events as what do you call that thing again? Say, number of events. So this is it now. Do you think that's all about this code, or are we adding? Are we missing anything here? Let me put this thing up there. Are we missing anything at all? Missing anything at all? Do you think this code is good to go? This is
Yeah,
advanced.
because
We might.
we don't need a we don't need a where clause since they don't specify which particular event.
Yes, but something is missing.
We need group by.
Thank you so much. We need group by. So whenever you're trying to like aggregating a column, whenever you're aggregating a column and a column comes before that, you have to use group by. Do you understand? So yeah, so we have to go group by. Alright. Then you put the name of the column. This is this. You group by this column. And this gives us the name of this. So if I run this, then yes, these are the things that is happening. This we have the total number of purchase. This is it. Number of page view, 30,000 page view. Add to carts and purchase and add impression. These are the number of what events that are put and down. So moving on. Um, so the next question that we have here is what is the percentage of visits which have a purchase event? Yes, we are getting to it, to the nitty gritty of this thing now. So we want to know the purchase that have events. That's like a conversion rate. You understand now? So what I want people to do on my website is to buy stuff. You understand now? So what I want to know, out of all those people that are coming to my website, how many of them are really buying this stuff? Do you get that, Sam? Do you get what I'm saying? So now calculating the percentage, so how do you think we are going to go about that? Now this calculation is a bit complicated, is more complex. So for us to actually understand it better, to break it down step by step, then we have to use something known as CTE. I would have talked about subquery, but subquery is not really advisable because of when you're trying to optimize your query. Subquery is not when it is hard for other people to be able to understand your code in subquery. So what we use CTE, common table expression. Common table expression help us to break down the different logic in your query to understand it better. So I'm going to be using CTE for this particular question. Are you with me? So now the first thing I'm going to do now is I want to get down to total number of people that visit my website. That's the first thing, because they said what is the percentage of people, percentage of visits which have a purchase event. Now, how do you break down this query? Firstly, you have to know total number of people that actually come to your website, total visits in that your single query, total visits. So after that, then you go to out of those total visits, how many of them actually buy the product? So you get the purchase from the visit. So we're going to break down our code like this, and it is best for us to use CTE. CTE is actually the best way to write this character. So whenever you want to start a CTE, you start with width. Then you start with the first name. So the first name is total visits. You just call it total visits. Total underscore visits. That's the name. Underscore the total visits as they put a bracket there. So for this now, I can just start select. If you don't understand any part of this, let me know. Select visit ID, has an visit, comma. Um, the next one is so yeah, visits as number of visits. Let me just call it as number of visits. Okay. Um, okay. So I'm going to use events here, right? I'm using events, everyone. Are you with me? Do you agree I'm using events table? Hello.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. So yeah. So I'm going to click it. So let me just copy all the code I have here because I think everything I have here is what I'm using here. So I'm going to do this and join. I'm using the same thing here. So yeah, so I'm using the event and event identifier. So that will be select visits as total number of visits. Let me make this thing much more. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah. Okay. So moving on. That is it. So that's the number of visits. So that is the total number of visits. So from this total number of visits now, I want to know how many people actually, patronize us. Like how many purchases do we have? So that'll be another table. So I'm going to put comma. So that'll be purchase. So whenever you're writing a city, you don't have to write the with again. If it's a continuous city, so you just have to call the name. So purchase events as inputs like this. Select so visit ID. So please, I want you to pay attention to this part. Select visit ID as purchase ID. You see where I'm going now. I'm still using all this thing. From events, event join things like that. Where event name is equal to purchase. Now we are filtering out the purchase events now. Where event underscore name is equal to purchase. I think that's capital letter, right? Yes. I know some people this is it's getting a bit interesting, right? So now this is purchase. From this now, so we have total visits, we have total purchase. Now we can now calculate the percentage what uh purchase. That's the question. What's the percentage of visits which have a purchase events? So now to do that one, I'm going to be using this one. I will select counts, count of distinct visit ID. So I have to get a distinct visit ID that I have from the table. So count of distinct visit ID, distinct visit. Yes. No, it's a purchase ID. I already named it purchase ID here. Purchase ID. It's counts. Count distance. Human needs the number of visits. what I call it here. Yeah, number of visits. So from then we join the two tables together. Now in this case, now I'm going to be doing left join. I'm going to be doing left join for this particular case. Why am I doing left join? Why am I doing left join? Let me write the case now. From purchase table. Okay, purchase events. Choose underscore events. Left join. Jesus consider left join. The other one. The other one is total visits. Visits. Now, why am I using left join here? Let's see one. So I'm with you guys. Can anyone just let me know why am I using left join? Why am I not using ordinary join? Why am I using left join? Someone to help us to bail us out. Number of visits.
Just to try. It's
Okay.
just a trial.
Oh, go ahead.
We are using left join. You are using left join. So that any
Go ahead.
sorry,
You can
sorry.
try. Yeah, go ahead. Just try anyhow. Like this is a class. We are all in here. So go ahead.
So that's any value or any column that is in the visit and is also applicable in the purchase event can actually come together.
Thank you. You are on track. You are on track. Yes, you are on track. So do anybody want to try? Thank you so much. So what's the name? Sorry, who's the person? Can I get the name? Is it Henry?
Okay, yeah, my name is Henry.
All right. Okay. So do anybody want to try? I think I have a name that I'm going to call now. If you're
Let me try.
okay, go ahead.
Adding to what Henry said, probably so there will be no null values.
Okay. So there will be no values. Okay. Now, yes, you tried also. You tried, yeah. So, do anybody want to try again? Anybody at all? So, check the code structure. I said total number of visits here. So, from this particular page, I just get the visit ID and number of visits from like total number of visits from people. And for this particular page, I get the purchase. People that actually purchase an item. Now, read the question again. Said, what is the percentage of visits which have a purchase event? We have so many visits. It's not every visit that actually leads to purchase, but we are looking for those visits that lead to purchase alone. That is why I'm using left join here. That okay, only return the visit ID that has purchase in it. That's why I'm using left join. That is every visit ID in purchase and the combining one from the total number of visits. That's why I'm using left join here. Do you get what I'm trying to say here now? The reason I'm giving priority to the purchase table. Purchase table is one on the left, right? Purchase event. You understand now? So, and I'm actually joining the two based on the visit ID. So I want all the visit ID from the total number of visits that had a purchase in it. That's why I'm using left join. Because if I've done maybe the other way, the other join, I might not actually get what I want here. But what I'm looking for is all the visit ID that had a purchase event in it. That is what I'm looking for. That's why I use left join in this kind of case. And this one is going to give me all the visit ID that has purchase in it. That is why there's left join, because purchase event is one on the left. If it's actually the one on the right, I would have used right join. That is why I said right join is actually used there sometimes. So with this now, let's run this query and see what we have. So we are going to run everything together. It's a very long query.
Yeah, I think you're missing on.
On, okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Yes. Yes, I'm missing that. Um, I run everything now. I should get everything. Okay, so we are moving does not exist. T1. I will call it T1 now. Yeah, cool. Purchasing, purchase receipt. Okay, purchase ID. No, so this one is purchase ID. The first one is check the column. Purchase ID. That's the name I give you here. The second one is number of visits. Yes, it's correct. Yeah, I'm gonna run this again. No. And why are we getting this error again? The reason why I'm getting error is because whenever you try to divide an integer by an integer in SQL, you get this kind of thing. So I can convert one of them to float by just multiplying by 1.0. So let me just multiply this one by 1.0. Let's say star. But you can just change the data type by casting it. Maybe cast it to a float or cast it to anything like that. Or you can multiply by 1.0. So let's try that again. I know. Yeah, we are missing something here. So count of purchase ID, let's look at it. Something on there. It can't be 100%. It's not possible.
Are we not supposed to multiply by 100?
100.
That's purchase.
Yes, yes, you have to multiply by 100. But if you multiply this by 100, it's going to give us 100. It cannot be 100. Do you get what I'm saying now? This is actually decimal, but if you multiply it by, you are supposed to multiply by 100, but if you multiply by 100, it's still going to give us that. But that is not. So we are missing something at some particular point in time. Let's look at it. Let me look at
All
my
right.
query again.
I think maybe a wild guess here. So if we are looking for the percentage, shouldn't we? So we are dividing the purchase ID by the total number of visits, but then we are looking for events.
Yes. We are looking for events. I didn't get that. Please come again.
So the purchase ID, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every visit has purchase ID.
Yes.
So the total number of visits is the total number of purchase ID.
So now visit, I actually give you a name here. So visit ID for this total number of visits, I give you visit ID. So what we are using for everything is visit ID, right? But what I change the name is, you look at this first code. I said when the visits, whenever
right.
You get that now.
Yeah, no,
So
I see it.
Yeah, yes.
I see.
So I just changed the name. Yes. Okay. So I'm missing something here. So T1 purchase events. Let me see. It cannot be.
Yeah, but visit ID is purchase ID.
Not be the other way.
What is it?
Visit ID is purchase ID.
No, visit ID is the total number of visits, and purchase events is the total number of purchases. So it should be purchases divided by number of events, not the other.
Yeah, so what we are dividing is the same, it's the same thing.
Oh, it's the same
thing. Okay. I get that now. Hold on. I think this thing has to be like this. Hold on. Let's try it.
Yeah, let's see the purchase event. Maybe let's take it block by block. Yeah.
Okay. This actually shouldn't be a bit distinct. Do you understand now? This actually be distinct. So that is why this. So if I multiply this by 100 like this.
It's 1.4.
1.4. Do you get that? Do you get that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Clear.
Okay. So moving on, and let's
Sorry,
I
was looking at you. What did you change in the code again?
I just removed the distinct from the other one, from the number of visits.
From the count. All right.
So now the questions that we have here now, we are about running up now. So tomorrow we are going to actually go deep into the query, but let me just look at this last question. What is the percentage of the visit which view the checkout page but do not have a purchase event? That's another big one. That's another big one. And so what we need to do for this is, can I actually finish this code before we run because of my time? So we have to calculate the number of checkouts. And from the checkouts, then you calculate the number of purchases. So what do you mean by checkout? Who can explain what they mean by checkout? This who can explain this part? What is the percentage of visits which view the checkout page but do not have the purchase events? And why are we checking that? Anyone? Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe if they completed the transaction.
Okay, yeah, whether they complete the transaction. And what insight do you think you can get from this? What insight are you getting from this checkout? Like to calculate the percentage of people that check out but did not actually purchase the product. What kind of insight do you think you can get from that? Anybody?
We can actually pick an insight. Probably they were having issue with payments with a
Thank you so much. That's you get it. So it can have it. So if you have like so many people that is actually the rate, maybe the percentage for that particular for this particular question is high, then that's actually pointing us to a problem on our page. Maybe people are finding it difficult to actually pay when they check out. You understand now? So these are the kind of metrics that we actually try to look at. Now today I'm going to stop here because of the time and give rooms for questions from people. Then tomorrow we are going to continue from this part tomorrow. Yes, we are going to come from this part tomorrow. I'm going to actually cover everything tomorrow and we are going to look at Power BI tomorrow also. So, but do you have any question for what we've actually talked about today?
Yeah, so while we're waiting the questions, please can you go back to the SQL query?
Yes.
Like just give it as like the screensaver. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay. So any other question? Any other question? This to take any question from anybody. Do you have any question from anyone? So this will be the time to ask. So I actually would like us to actually go and try this on our own before our class tomorrow. Yeah, please. You can speak. Unmute your mic and speak.
Yeah, sorry, sir. I wanted to ask if we'll get the recording before the next class, before tomorrow.
Before tomorrow, yes, yeah. So if the recording drop, it depends on if it shouldn't take much time. In the next 1 hour, the recording should drop. So then, yeah, I'm going to do that. I will try as much as possible to upload it overnight for you to actually work for the class.
Thank you so much. So we can go through it.
Yes, you can go through.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So any other question? Any other question?
Not a question, but I would like to see the rest of the query.
The rest of
yeah,
the query.
I'm getting 0, so I'm trying to see where the disconnect is.
Okay, let me try and bring this thing down so that you can actually understand.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. So if there's no any other question, please let's try out this thing. It's a very good case study, and I believe you can actually do these things. It's something that you can put on your portfolio. I have this thing on my portfolio, and I know what it because this kind of question we are treating is not something that it's a technical question that you have to think and write a query. You have to manipulate your tables to actually get the answers, and these are the things that a lot of people actually looking for. How you can join the table, manipulate your query to answer a question. This is one of the key skills in SQL. You can try it out on your own and play around it and see. And if you have any question, you can bring it to next class. Yeah, someone hands up. Anyone want to say something? Okay, so if there's no question, that will be all for today. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. See you tomorrow.